Yeah. Pro Fan Sports Podcast. Let's get it. Pro fans, tune into the program. Every single week, get the dope, fam. Sean on the mic, very flat too. Keep you updated, that's what we do. Pro fans, tune into the program. Pro fans, tune into the program. Pro fans, tune into the program. Every single week, get the dope, fam.
Yo, what it do, everybody? It's your boy John Altidor with Pro Fan Sports Podcast, where the fans of the pros go. Back at you with my boys Vlad and Barry. What's good, fellas?
Yo,
what's up, everybody? How we doing? Episode 21, here we go.
Episode 21, man. If you're watching this video right now, please remember to subscribe on the YouTube channel. But, as always, how you guys been, man? How's everything going?
Like the video as well.
Huh? Yeah, you gotta like the video.
Yeah.
Facts.
I've been good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Y'all had a good weekend?
Oh, yeah, had a great weekend.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I know you were at the beach yesterday.
Yes, I was.
Yeah.
I did to go on a little beach trip, with a couple of my people, DJ B-Dog and his girl. Yeah, we went out to Weirs Beach in New Hampshire, a couple hours away from here. So, it was a nice little trip that we did. It was kind of cool. We got to hang out at a floating kind of bar that was on the water by the beach. So
nice. Living that big money
really
lifestyle.
Oh yeah, to the fullest. Facts. We got.
I
mean, the summer days are winding down. I mean, we're we're getting closer to the end of the summer. So
yeah,
we definitely gotta
quick, man.
enjoy. The rest of it before it goes away, and it's gone. So yeah, it was a really fun weekend, and I had a really good time out there.
Nice, man. I went to the beach last week. I went jet skiing and shit like that. So that was pretty cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, man. As always, we're trying to do a segment where we answer questions from a supporter, listener, fan, whatever. So if you have any questions that you want answered on the show, send us an email or DM us on any of our social media platforms, and we will answer your questions on the show. So the email is profansports1@gmail.com. You can support the podcast by donating on our website, profansports.com. And please follow us on social media. We're on Instagram. That's profans_sports. We're on Twitter, profansports, @profansports. On Facebook, Facebook.com/profansports, and again, YouTube. If you're watching this, subscribe, and it's youtube.com/profansports. Just to let you know, we drop every Tuesday morning on all major streaming platforms, and our videos drop on every Wednesday morning. And on today's show, we're going to be discussing a couple things. As always, we're going to be discussing the NBA, NFL, MLB, NHL, soccer, and other miscellaneous things that's gone on in the sports world this week. So firstly, for the NBA, we'll be discussing the Celtics, about who's been their most impressive player, the last few games they've had, what our takeaways are. We're going to talk about some injuries that's happened, maybe an MVP bubble, MVP, so that should be good. On the NFL, we'll be discussing Patriots, as always, what it looks like with all their opt-outs, the quarterbacks. They did an interview this week. We'll be talking about that, and also give you some updates on other things that's going on in the NFL. MLB, we're talking Red Sox, and everything that's happening with the MLB, and protocol changes. Then we'll cover some of the NHL, what's going on with the Bruins and how they're doing recently. And Vlad, as always, will hook you guys up on the soccer front. So let's get to it, man. We're going to be talking about the NBA, man. Celtics. So we've had a couple games since the last episode,
For sure.
I think we were updating people for that game. What was it, against Portland?
Yes, against the Trailblazers.
We went up, by 20?
24.
24?
Yeah. Right.
And we were hyping them up the whole game, and then by the time we finished the podcast, they were tied up. So
yeah,
I thought that,
much.
And I think we were updating people like, they got this, we're up 20, and then
I know, we're acting like the game was over.
Right,
Much,
right.
yeah.
And then Dame and CJ McCollum decided they wanted to ball out. So
Yeah, Dame time happened, guys.
yeah, it did happen. Good. Luckily for us, it didn't. He didn't happen throughout the whole game. They didn't win the game. We ended up with the win.
Yeah, there wasn't too much Dame time, particularly in the fourth quarter. Thank God.
Yeah, but I think since that game and then the Heat game with the Bucks games, there's been some things happening with the Celtics. So we've won a couple of games since, right? We won against the Nets the other day, and then the Raptors as well.
Yeah.
I know. I was thinking when we were like killing them. I remember one of the episodes we did. Barry was like, "Yeah, we should destroy those guys." They're
absolutely.
They're like a JV team or something. I forgot the exact quote.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah, but with everything happened with the Celtics, right? What's their record now? They're like 3-2, right? In the bubble,
with 3 games left.
Yeah, I think I want to talk about like who has been the most impressive Celtics in your opinion.
Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown, bar none. Defensively and offensively, he's just been consistent every single game. Unlike some other guys, Jaylen Brown's definitely been my most impressive player. My second most consistent player has been Gordon Hayward. He's been playing pretty well as well, but Jaylen Brown definitely gets the notch for the way he's been playing, the consistency on offense and on defense. He's just been great.
I didn't think you dropped GH in there, man.
I know. Exactly.
Congratulations,
Especially
GH.
As critical as he's been on him on the show, but I mean, definitely got to give him credit. He certainly had a good performance in the bubble to this point.
Yeah, who do you think?
So I would have to agree with, number one, obviously, Jaylen Brown by far has been the best player for the Celtics throughout the first 5 games of the bubble so far. I mean, the guy's just done, everything for this team on, both ends of the floor. I mean, he's scored, when he's need them to score and hit, big shots and, be aggressive, get into the rim and using his athleticism. So he's definitely done a really good job on that. And then he's also, done a pretty good job defensively, pretty much guarding the leading scorer on the opposite team. So it's been impressive that he's been able to not only get, 20-plus points through most of these games so far in the bubble, but he's also been able to play at a high level defensively and still have enough energy on both sides of the floor, which is a tough thing to do because not too many guys can, have that ability to, be a good two-way player like that. So he's, by far been, the guy for the Celtics to this point. And then I'd go number 2. This would be kind of a surprise. I don't know how you guys would feel about this, but even though GH has been playing really well, I'd actually go Daniel Tice as number 2.
I like Daniel.
Right. I definitely think I've been impressed with his play and and what he's done through in these games, particularly defensively and he's definitely a good help defender and, also, gives them that, rim protection and kind of solidifies that starting lineup since, he, is the only big guy on there. So he definitely does all the dirty work and he's, been setting good screens, getting those guys open and, doing the little things that, help the team win games. So I think he's continued to do that as he's done all year, and I've certainly been impressed with his play up to this point. So those are my 2 top guys for the Celtics so far.
The reason why I can give it to Daniel Tice is because the games that we lost, he played poorly.
Yeah.
No, I'll say that he did.
And there was no presence in the paint at all in those games. And I think that's one of the reasons why we lost those games.
I'd say that. I think overall the team didn't really play well enough in those games to win. I mean, he himself didn't play well.
Yeah.
I would agree, but I think overall, there were other guys on the team that didn't perform and play as well as they could have. So it wasn't only on him. I know you're not saying it's only on him, but
I think those last couple of games, though, he's been extremely impressive.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Especially against Toronto on Friday. Absolutely.
And I think he had to step up his game for us to
be successful.
To start winning
no
games.
question. Absolutely. Definitely need, his presence and him to continue to, play well and play at a high level if this team's going to go far in the postseason.
I think Brad Stevens, especially the game against Toronto, they were feeding him in the paint. Like, every time you could see, like, they were making a point to feed him in the paint. So,
yeah.
I think Brad Stevens made a point to, like, get him involved in the game because he knew that was part of that had to be part of the success of the team.
Oh, no question. No, I definitely agree with that. Absolutely.
I don't like agreeing with you guys at all. You know what I'm saying? Like, as far as the answers we give, because it's a show. We obviously want to give different perspectives and things like that. But I don't think anybody can say that Jaylen Brown hasn't been the MVP of the Celtics team in the bubble restart so far, and he's averaging right around 20, 21 points in the bubble so
20,
far.
right.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And like you guys are saying, he's been covering the top guy on the other team every night. I'm thinking about the game against the Raptors where he defended Siakam pretty much the whole time.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Is that, and if you watch the game, Siakam had a lot of issues trying to get in, trying to score. Like he did not have a good stat line at all.
He had
and
a terrible
Jaylen
game.
Brown
Absolutely
had a lot to do with that, and for being
game,
a guard and for being as long as he is, and those guys are willing defenders. You know what I'm saying? And I think Jaylen Brown's on a mission out there. You know what I'm saying?
He is.
I think
no question.
That game was the most impressive game. I mean, the Nets game was cool and all, but it's the Nets.
Right.
You know what I mean? Even though they had who did they beat? Did they beat the Bucks?
They beat Trailblazers.
They beat
No, the Nets beat the Bucks.
Yeah,
the Nets beat the Bucks.
That was the game before we played them.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So I was like, what's going on over there? But then once we played them, we beat them. I was like, whatever. With the game against Miami, I was disappointed.
Yes, I was frustrated.
We couldn't make any shots, man, in that
but
game.
the defense was poor.
Yeah,
they were
it was
making,
definitely poor.
They were making all the threes, and they were occupying the paint.
Yeah.
So
it
was just a bad game defensively. But
no question.
The game against John, I'm gonna let you go in a minute. But the game against the Raptors was okay, guys. Finally, this is a complete game. This is a notable opponent.
Right.
And we played well. We scored. We played defense. Defensively, we were awesome. Like, that game was so good that I think toward the fourth quarter, I was like, yo, I'm kind of sleepy now. Like,
yo,
right. It's crazy.
The movement of the defense, man, to see that, and everybody moving, and even on offense.
On offense as well.
Because defense transitions to offense, and the way they were moving the ball on offense and making the extra passes. You know what I'm saying? It kind of reminded me like a Greg Popovich team.
Yeah.
In some of those sequences with the, passing the ball and getting it to the open guy every time. Not forcing anything at all. But, of course, we got our guys that are really good on the ISO like Jayson Tatum, and he's got to have his ISO moments every now and then. But, yeah, Jaylen Brown, man, he's definitely been the MVP, the leader of the team. He's the ambassador. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no question.
Now, if we can do that consistently,
then
we might have.
I actually saw
doubt.
a headline the other day. I was reading this article, and the question was, not the question. The statement was, Jaylen Brown may be leaving the bubble a superstar.
Yes, I was reading that article this morning. I saw that.
I don't disagree with that.
Posted. No, that's facts.
I don't disagree with that.
He was a superstar to me already.
Yeah, I mean, he's been a superstar to us, because we know what Jaylen Brown's capable of. Seeing his growth since he got drafted here third overall, and the things he's had to go through, no matter what role he's had, he's found a way to progress in it no matter what. You know, the situation is around him, thinking about Kyrie and the Morris brothers, you know, coming down on him that season. And he was just like, you know what, fuck it. You want me to come off the bench? I'm gonna do my thing off the bench also, you know what I'm saying? And he went out there and averaged like 14 points, even though his minutes went down. And then now we actually see, like, we should have had that guy on the court the whole time.
I was gonna, as much as I like JB, just as you guys, before the bubble, I didn't think he was a superstar yet. Like
I thought he was an all-star.
He's an all-star, no question, but not a superstar quite yet, but he is definitely getting to that point and getting a lot closer to becoming a superstar. He will have to see how he plays in the playoffs, once they start next week. But I think maybe we're getting a little bit too premature.
No, I don't think Vlad was saying. I don't think Vlad was saying Jaylen Brown is a superstar. He said to him, he's been a superstar. You know what I'm saying? He's always viewed him as a superstar. I mean, in my opinion, I've always viewed him as that either.
I mean, I understand he's not like this well-known player.
That like the league wide, he's not.
But I just thought also he was all like, in order for us to win, Jaylen Brown always needed to have a big game.
Yes, and
a good game.
No question, especially on both ends of the floor. No, that is a good point.
Two-way player, like,
yeah.
And maybe the rest of the NBA hasn't noticed him, but like, I know people get excited about Jayson Tatum, and Jayson Tatum is the guy. I mean, and he is, and he deserves that. But just Jaylen Brown is as important.
Oh, no question, absolutely. And just one thing about Jaylen Brown, and I was kind of surprised about. I would figure and think that he would have been a finalist for most improved player, in which he wasn't. I was definitely surprised about that. I know we'll get to that a little bit later in the show, but I just thought I'd briefly bring that up before we talk about like the finalists for each of the awards.
No, for sure, man. I definitely think Jaylen Brown's that guy. And I remember watching the Blazers games with you guys, and I was like, whenever Jaylen Brown scores more than 20, him and Jayson Tatum score 20 apiece, we don't lose. You know what I'm saying? I think the record is really, it favors us. We're like 20 and something.
Yeah, I don't think we've lost.
We haven't lost
this year at least.
Exactly.
Right. No,
whenever
I
they
saw
score,
a stat like that. No, you're right.
Yeah, whenever they score that much together as a tandem, we don't lose the game. And I think the second guy I'm really impressed with. I think it's going to be a surprise to you guys because we don't talk about him a lot. And to me, his success is going to help out the team more than anything. And that guy is Brad Wanamaker. The Raptors game, man, and the Nets game, it was like that guy, he was balling on another level. Mm-hmm. And it seemed like he knows his spots now. He knows exactly where he needs to be. I think that the fan base gets down on Brad Wanamaker a lot, because, he gets turnovers every now and then, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, we need him, and I think there's a big call for Tremont Waters. There was a big call for Tremont Waters to replace him. And
to get more minutes, right? I remember hearing about that talk.
Yeah, and I think, if you've watched the last few games, you actually understand how important Brad Wanamaker is to the success of this team. So we're going to need him to keep balling like that to actually, go as far as we want to go.
No question. He's been big for our bench, so I'm glad that you gave him a shout-out and, gave him credit on how well he's been playing on the bubble so far, particularly in the last couple games, especially on Friday night against the Raptors. I thought he was even good against the Bucks in game one. He had a solid game as well. He's a guy that I like because he doesn't try to do too much. And he knows his role.
He plays his role.
Right.
He used to do too much.
He used to do a little too much.
That's why a lot of people and fans got upset with him and didn't, like his game and like him on the court. And so, he's finally understood now that, he can't do too much and he should just stick to playing his role and doing what the team needs him to do in order to, help them win games.
I think, it's the hiatus probably helped too. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like you've been on the team for a full year now. Now we're going to start up as, you've been here, you got the experience. Now it's time to improve on it. But speaking on the Celtics bench, right? What are your thoughts on the Celtics bench? Because I know the whole year we've been talking about, the media's been talking about, the lack of performers off the bench for the Celtics. Has has anything changed for you guys the last couple of games or since the bubble restart?
I think the bench is improving. I think at the beginning of the year, I was very down on the bench and what they were providing to the team. I didn't feel as though they were providing enough. But now you have Marcus Smart, you have in a Scanter, you have Wanamaker, and you have Robert Williams. And especially adding Robert Williams, if he's able to continue to produce as much as he's been producing the last couple of games, especially on offense, I think he's gonna be on defense and on offense. I think he's gonna be able to make the bench a lot more a lot better, a lot more productive. And I think in the playoffs, you don't really want to go that deep in your bench.
Yeah,
you really want to go maybe 3 deep in your bench. You know what I mean? Like have a eight man rotation. And I think if you have Brad Wanamaker, Brad Wanamaker, Smart, and Robert Williams as those 3 guys that you go to on the bench, I think that will be a good and decent bench for the Celtics. I don't think that they are where they need to be yet, but I think as we play more games, I can see the bench improving, and I think they will be vital to us making a deep playoff run if they keep playing better, if they keep playing as good as they played in the last couple of games.
Yeah, I mean, on the bench, I definitely hear what you're saying. I think at the start of the bubble, they weren't very good. I thought they weren't playing well at all, and they didn't we didn't get enough production from them. But as the games have gone along, and particularly with the addition of Robert Williams and giving him more minutes on the court, I think that certainly helped our bench a lot, and has definitely given them a different element and more size coming off the bench, and that's what they needed, because the thing that this team has lacked all year is is size on the front court, particularly coming off the bench, and also another rim protector when Ty's out of the game. They didn't have another guy that they can put that can be able to defend and protect the basket when Tice was off the floor. So luckily, Robert Williams, now that he's healthy, he's had injury problems throughout pretty much his Celtic career, and particularly this year. So hopefully he can stay healthy. He had a pretty good game last couple games, so I'm glad that he's starting to turn it around slowly but surely. Hopefully he can continue to keep playing the way he is. And the bench, definitely you're starting to see when they've shortened the rotation and guys haven't played and not playing as many guys as Brad used to, because usually he likes to play 10 guys. When they've shortened it to 8 or 9, the bench I feel like plays much better. When you shorten the rotation, and like Vlad said, that's pretty much playoff basketball. When the playoff games start, teams usually go in their rotation only 8, 9 deep, and I feel like with this team you can go 9 deep. With bringing in obviously Wanamaker and Smart in the backcourt. Those are that's your bench, backcourt bench for when you take the starters out, and then you have the 2 backup bigs in Cantor and and Robert Williams, Time Lord. So I feel like that bench is starting to get more solidified, and the roles are starting to get more defined as we go on. So I'll leave it at that. I'll let you go, John. But I'm definitely liking what I've seen from the bench in the last couple games, without question.
Yeah, I always like to take the wait and see approach, but I gotta say the last couple of games, those guys have definitely been stepping up, and I think definitely Robert Williams had a lot to do with that, as far as like his defensive presence in the paint. His shot blocking ability, I think that makes guys think twice a little bit about going in there. And his high percentage shooting. Like the guy basically only dunks everything. So there's not really much to miss there. And, with those lobs, the guy can go up there and get it. And, it doesn't.
I know it's a freak athlete.
It's nice to get easy buckets. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah,
Sometimes
absolutely.
you really do need an easy bucket. And I think he injected, some fuel to the team as far as like his presence and his energy out there. And what I've noticed from him off the bench is that he's not as bouncy as before. Like before, you'd watch the game and he'd like jump for everything. Thinking that he was gonna block everything. It's like this is the NBA. You know what I'm saying? Like you're not in college anymore, so you're gonna have to anticipate because guys are gonna use that against you and obviously jump into you. If they're veterans, they're gonna foul you out pretty quick. And I've noticed he looks like he's more aware of what's going on. And again,
absolutely,
with our guy Brad Wanamaker. Emerging and doing the things that he's been doing, taking the open shots without hesitating. I've even seen him drive it a couple of times and actually get in there doing his thing. So, and also, he gets to the line and he's the leading free throw shooter in the league. So,
yeah, I know, that's impressive.
That is very impressive. I think it used to be Kyrie Irving, but the guy... He hasn't played that many games to actually qualify for the statistics. So it's Brad Wanamaker now. But I think we've talked a lot about Robert Williams. He has came on the last couple of games and has done some stuff to impress a lot of people. I thought for the New Jersey game, like Brad was just like putting him out there because we were playing a JV team, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? So, I was thinking, let's see.
Brooklyn Nets.
Yeah, Brooklyn Nets. It's like let's see if Brad plays him in the Raptors game, and if he plays him in the Raptors game, that might mean something, And
that does mean a lot. Means that he has a lot more confidence in him.
Yeah, and since he did that, somebody else always has to suffer when one guy enters the lineup, and that guy has been Enes Kanter so far. So you guys think he's threatening Enes Kanter's minutes? Because, I like Kanter. I think he is limited defensively. Obviously, everybody knows that. But he gives us a lot of offense, and he's probably he's probably our best rebounder on the team. So
especially offensive rebounds. He's I think the best offensive rebounder, one of the best offensive rebounders in the league. So.
I've never seen anybody rebound, offensively like that. I don't know anybody else that does that. Maybe Thompson. or
Tristan Thompson's a really good offensive rebounder.
Right. Yeah. But do you guys think he's threatening Enes Kanter's minutes, or do you guys think this was based off of matchup?
I just feel as though it's gonna be based off matchup. I think when you need more offense, obviously you're gonna put Enes Kanter out there. But if you need defense, you're gonna put Robert Williams out there. So I think, and I'm okay with him taking minutes away from Kanter because I feel as though he can help on both sides of the ball as far as he can score and he can play defense. So if that happens, I'm okay with that. But I feel as though they both have different strength, and I feel as though Brad Stevens will play them based on those strengths, based on what's needed for that game. And if Brad Stevens feels as though there's more of an opportunity to get rebound on offense, he's gonna put Kanter. But if we need more of a defensive presence in the paint, then he'll put Robert Williams.
Yeah, no, I definitely hear your point. For sure. I think that I don't know if he's threatening Kanter's minutes. I think a person that he should be taking away his minutes is Semi Ojeleye. I think that's whose minutes should Robert Williams be taken, because that's a guy that I'm still trying to figure out and having a hard time understanding what Brad likes about him and why he's playing him so much. That's the person that completely needs to be out of the rotation, and the only time he should be playing on the floor is in garbage time. He shouldn't be playing meaningful.
He's good defensively.
Oh, please. He's good defensively.
Yeah.
What?
I think he's good defensively, like Ojale.
It's very inconsistent. Yeah, right. And you don't know when you're going to get it. But to me, he's too much of a liability, particularly on the offensive end. Like, for example, in the Heat game, this guy was missing so many open shots that I think the Heat were just purposely leaving him open and dared him to shoot and didn't even, like, they were giving him the Ben Simmons treatment pretty much. Like, just, they were like, hey, if you want to take that shot, go right ahead, bro. Like, until you make one, we're not even going to bother closing out on you. And I think they closed out the first shot that he against the Heat in which he missed, and then after that they're like, why even bother closing out on this guy if he's not gonna not make a shot? So I think you can play Cantor and Williams. I'm sure a lot of those minutes will be dependent on the matchup. Like if they're playing a bigger team, I'd like to see Robert Williams in there. For sure, I think he's a good matchup for that Toronto game because he matches up with their size, and you want more defense on the floor. But if it's a game that you want more rebounding, like we said, Ernest Cantor, one of the best rebounders in the game without question, and also post scorer. He has really good post moves and can score well from the low post. So if you want more of that, that's who you put into the the game where you need more offense and more scoring off the bench, since that's what the team has lacked really throughout this season is bench scoring.
I mean, I can't say I disagree that, if I can't say I disagree about the minutes, because if you're not going to, I do like Shemmy, they call him. He does.
I don't know what you like about him.
I like his defensive presence. I think Brad Stevens trusts him. That's why
really think
Brad
he plays good defense.
I mean, Brad puts him out there for a reason. I do think he plays some good defense, and and I think he plays well against like the Bucks. Subbing in to guard Giannis and things like that. So
he didn't play well in that first game. He didn't do anything that first game. So
apparently we didn't do anything either. We wasn't doing anything, so I don't think it all goes down to him. But I'm saying I agree with you. Like if he's gonna take minutes, somebody that's not producing like that on the floor as far as offensively, I wouldn't disagree with that. That's what I'm saying.
I hear you.
I'm also saying I do like Shemmy. I don't think he's a terrible player. I think sometimes he's on and he makes his threes, and then
threes.
like the Heat game. Sometimes he's just off, and he should be on the bench.
More than hot a lot more times. I mean, that's just how I see it. But I mean,
I don't want to see Ojale on the court at all.
Thank you, Vlad. That's what I'm saying. Thank you.
In the playoffs, if I see Samuel Ojale on the court, we must be winning by like 30.
Exactly. It must be garbage time. Exactly. That's the only time he should be playing, is when the game is pretty much out of reach and already,
decided.
Exactly.
I'm not saying I disagree with you guys. I'm just saying I don't dislike the guy. I think it's okay for me not to dislike the guy.
Nah, he's pissed me off.
Yeah, he does too. Right. He's too much of a liability on the court. I don't know what he brings to the team and brings to the table that and why he's earned the minutes that they've been giving him.
I know why. Once in a while, he plays good defense against Giannis. Honestly, he does. Once in a while, he does. And he looks impressive.
He's sometimes a big guy,
But then after that, just, oh my God.
Yeah, I know. Exactly. After that, the guy's useless, pretty much.
Well, I asked that question because, one, in the game against the Nets, Enes Kanter played like something like 5 minutes or something like that, and and Robert Williams got the rest of the time. And then against the Raptors, he got a DNP, which
Yeah,
is,
he
you know,
didn't play
did
at
not
all
play.
on Friday
You know,
night.
so that definitely, like, what has changed, and the only thing that has changed is Robert Williams is now on the court. So, like, that's why Enes Kanter is not getting minutes. So that's why I asked the question. And no, I definitely, if we're gonna take minutes away from anybody, I would definitely agree that it should be Shemi. You know, he can't
Without
post
question.
up like
Absolutely.
Enes can. He can't rebound like Enes can. He has better defense than Enes, but
I'll give him
majority of
that.
the people.
Right, but that's not saying a lot. Right. That's not saying much. Right.
That defense can be made up by Robert Williams.
Yeah, no,
Exactly.
That's true.
Exactly. That's the whole point of having Robert Williams. Exactly.
Right, but you know, we did lose 2 games. The Celtics did. Since those games started after the 5th game, right? What do you guys think is the biggest difference in the Celtics since the losses of the Bucks and the Heat?
Defense. Those guys being, switching on defense. I feel as though the games that they lost, they were lazy. The Heat were making threes everywhere. Bam was having a ball in the paint. Like, the guys weren't switching fast enough. They weren't focused. It's just been great defense. If you saw the Nets game and the not the Bucks game, the Nets game and the Raptors game, it was just great defense. A team like the Raptors that scores in high volume, we were limiting them to less than 50 points in the first half or something like that.
Yeah,
Like,
that sounds right.
It was very impressive. It was just it's just been accountability on defense and switching when you need to, and just being aware and being focused. Offense been better as well, but the focus has been on defense, and the effort on defense has been the difference.
Yeah, no, without question. Particularly with that Heat game, I think that was by far their worst loss. That was even
Without
worse.
Jimmy Butler.
Exactly. Without
Jimmy
their
Butler.
best player, they still lose to the Miami Heat. That's what really pissed me off about that loss and got me really tight and on my nerves.
When I saw that Jimmy was out, I was like, okay, well,
We got this.
Right. Like, we should win this game. Like, the Heat shouldn't beat us without Jimmy Butler on the court. And I guess maybe the Celtics took them lightly or didn't take them, seriously, clearly. And you're right, like you were gonna say, the Heat were on a back-to-back.
On a back-to-back, for that matter.
Right.
Like,
Because they played the Raptors the game before, right, and then they played us the next day.
On a back-to-back, I was like, no Jimmy Butler. All right, this is gonna be an easy game. Let me see the Celtics rebound. And
I think I
was shocked.
They also owed us one because we've been beating them throughout the year, so we do have we took the series from them, right?
Oh, we did still win the season series from them. Was just gonna say, even though we lost that game, and
it was
obviously
the first
shouldn't
loss.
have lost that game. But I would definitely, say that for sure the biggest has been, the defense and the ball movement for sure.
Ooh,
like
yes.
you're seeing them, defend a lot better. They've picked up the defensive intensity. We said, like, they're flying around, making rotations, closing out on shooters, which is something that they weren't doing against the Heat. I think they forgot how to close out against the Miami Heat, and that's why they got so many open shots, and they were making them. And they're so I'm surprised they're the best 3-point shooting team in the league, or at least they have like the highest 3-point percentage. So you would think that they would, emphasize on defending the three, in which they obviously didn't. But ever since that game, they've certainly, defended a lot better, and I think that's been helping them on offense because they're able to, get in transition more now. They're getting stops and, get easier baskets, and then they're also moving the ball better. I'm not seeing too many isolations. Like, everybody's touching, the ball. I know on one of the first possessions of the Raptors game, I know they everyone on that first position, on their first basket, I believe, when Tice got the N1, everyone touched it at least once, and the ball was like moving, and then Tice was able to get a wide open lane and finish strong with the layup N1, and so that was definitely impressive, and we've been seeing a lot more of that too as well with on the offensive end for this team. So I think those by far have been the two biggest differences ever since they lost to the Heat earlier this week.
No, I'd agree with both of you guys. I think there's been a lot of effort. I think that's a key word right there. These guys are making more effort to actually play defense out there. And on one of Jayson Tatum's press conferences, where he was answering questions, and he said something like, he looked at the defensive stats, and we were like numbered in the 20s, and there's only like 22 teams in the
bubble, exactly.
So, and he's like, and for our group, for that to be where we're at, that's unacceptable, because if the whole year they've been one of the top defensive teams in the league. So he said it was important for them. There's no way that they can have all these players out there that are, defensively minded, that they can't defend even better. And you saw what happened, man. You saw the other teams, they struggle to score. The closeouts are coming really fast. The switches are crazy. The length of Jaylen Brown and Jayson Tatum is absolutely ridiculous. I don't understand why guys pass the ball around Jayson Tatum, because he's always sitting there trying to shoot the lane to grab the steal, and every game he does it 2-3 times in the game. I'm like,
exactly. I'm like, you guys don't watch film, you haven't seen him play and don't know that that's what he does on the defensive end.
He's waiting on the zone every time, and he's shooting the gap and grabbing the ball, and easy layups, easy dunks or whatever.
Right, exactly.
And I think we didn't talk about Jayson Tatum as far as who's been impressing us for the Celtics so far, and I think that's because he's doing what he's supposed to be doing.
He also had a bad start.
He had the bad start, but he's been really good ever since. Since that game, he knocked it off, and he's been a monster for us. And I think the things he's doing has become expected for us. It's like we expect you to go out there and get 25, 30 points every night now, Jayson Tatum. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So I think that's the reason we didn't name him as one.
Well, he hasn't been doing that, though.
I don't think he has needed to. I think, we've had a well-balanced offense the last couple of games.
Right, especially on Friday. They were really well-balanced.
Kemba is shooting it well, high percentage shooting. Jaylen Brown has been scoring. Gordon Hayward has been doing his thing. Marcus Smart was the leading scorer in one of these games, the one we lost, unfortunately. But I don't think he needs to, score 30 points every night for this team to win. I think if we're lacking offense, he obviously asserts himself and he goes on the ISO.
No, he hasn't. When we lack in offense, I haven't seen him assert himself, and I think that's missing.
I've seen him do some things now. Just taking guys off the dribble. One of the last.
Yeah, but I feel as though for him to be the superstar that people are claiming him to be, when the team is not doing well, then he takes over.
Yeah, and he
has to be that guy.
He has to be that guy.
And I'm waiting for him to get to that point. I feel as though he's not there yet. For him to be like that, superstar, he's the next big guy on in the league. I feel as though when we're not having a good game, he's supposed to keep the team level-headed, keep
afloat.
The team treading, keep us afloat until everybody else get back and start scoring.
I think
that's a good point.
Capable.
Absolutely.
I think he's definitely capable of that.
No, he is. He just has to be more aggressive and be in attack mode. A lot more often. No, I definitely agree with that. That's the next step to him becoming a superstar and an elite top 10 player. That's the only thing that's missing in his game, because he has everything else, and he definitely is more than able to do that. He just has to go out and improve it and show that he can do that. And hopefully, in the playoffs, once the playoffs start, he'll you know what I'm saying, be that player that we need him to be.
Yeah, that's facts, man. And just the overall NBA coming back in the bubble, man. And I feel like it's been awesome. The games that they've been
absolutely
showing, the scenery, the way the product has been. I think the NBA has done a good job of putting the product out there. The players are not testing positive for COVID, which is huge.
For
3 straight weeks now, man.
Positive tests, so now they're doing the right
no
thing.
positive. Guys, I haven't heard too many things. No strip club glue stories.
Right. No more of that. Yeah, ever since that incident. Yeah.
Right, and I think guys are settling in. But I want to know what is your takeaway so far in the bubble restart.
I mean, it's been good. It's been entertaining. I think everybody's been paying attention to the NBA, which we knew that was gonna happen because the MLB just missed their starting point. So once MLB started at the same time at the NBA, we knew that everybody was gonna pay more attention to the NBA. And it's been good. And also it's been surprising to see some of the players that are stepping up. I think the fact that there's no fans, the fact that players had time off, it's giving some players more confidence, and some players have been stepping up. It's been exciting to watch the NBA so far.
Yeah, no, absolutely. The bubble's gone off to a great start for sure. There's been a lot of really good games. I feel like, the competitiveness, between the teams have certainly been there in these games. Guys are really competing and playing hard, and really, playing well at a high level, and even guys who, we didn't really expect to play as well and didn't play well in the regular season have now come out of nowhere and stepped up and and just blossomed and turned into star players. Like T.J. Warren, for example, has become all of a sudden a stud and a guy that scoring 30 points every night. Even against really good teams, he's by far been one of the best players in the bubble to this point. Offensively, no, absolutely. That's what I was definitely trying to say. That he's certainly been one of the top guys on that end of the floor. Devin Booker's been great. I mean, we already knew he could score, but he's now shown that he can, prove and that he can lead a team to wins as well as doing the scoring that he does, because they weren't winning many games before the bubble, and all of a sudden now they're 5-0 and they're beating teams like the Clippers and the Heat and the Pacers when the Pacers were 3-0 in the bubble. So I mean, that to me has definitely been one of the biggest takeaways and most impressive things from the bubble at this point. And then also Luka Doncic. Like, we knew how great this guy was, but I feel like he's now taken his game to another level, especially with the way he's been playing the last couple games, man, and especially last night against the Bucks in that comeback win they had in overtime against them. That was just unbelievable and amazing. Like the guy's been putting on his show and really putting that team on his back. I mean, to have 2 straight games of where he scored 30 points, 20 rebounds and 10 assists. Well, he came close to that last night. I think he was 1 assist shy of that. But nonetheless, the guy's been great and shown that he's a top 10 player and an elite player in this league, and he's going to be a superstar in this league for many years to come.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think the NBA is definitely, like I said, definitely done a good job about rolling these things out. I thought they had a really well thought out plan. The courts look absolutely beautiful. No matter what teams is playing.
Right.
I like how they have the home court stuff out there. Between the teams. The graphics and stuff like that, all the lighting around, the virtual fans has been pretty cool to watch.
Awesome.
I think they've made it a lot more interactive for the fans. Even like pumping the noise, the crowd noise into the games. It doesn't seem like that crazy, right? Because they do have like the virtual fans and stuff like that.
Right.
You don't really pay attention to it. But one thing Vlad did say, that I didn't think about that before. And you mentioned something too. Some guys that we haven't heard about before have been going off.
Right, exactly.
And I think what Vlad said, the fact that there's no fans and it's like more intimate, and it's kind of like open gym, like we're at the Y, you know what I'm saying? Like obviously there's the ref and everybody else is just like other players that's there, you know what I'm saying? So
right.
I think that's definitely giving some guys some confidence as opposed to like a big arena where you're thinking about a million eyes looking at you and it feels like the pressure's there at all times. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely think that's a huge factor in when it comes to the players that are performing at next level and things like that.
One thing I wish they didn't do is the crowd noise. I wish there was just like, so remember when the MGA docu-series came out?
Yeah.
They showed the expletive, the one with squares with expletives first, and then they showed the one without squares afterwards.
Yeah.
I wish the NBA had two channels. One channel where you could watch it where Melo is screaming "fuck out of here."
Yeah.
And then a channel where you could watch it without the expletive with your kids or whatever. I wish that would have been cool. Like, if for me to hear Melo screaming or other guys screaming, you know what I mean? I feel as though that would have been like really cool if they did it that way.
Yeah, kind of like the Big Three.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
right.
Right.
The Big Three,
That'd
that's
be pretty
one.
awesome.
That's
The
one of
Big
the
Three,
more.
they let people swear.
They let them swear. They're just out there. You can as soon as the camera inches closer, you can hear these guys like, get the fuck out of here, bro. Yeah. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's a bum. Like
he's trash.
I think that would definitely be really interesting, but that probably would cost a whole lot of money to do that. But I definitely think that's an idea. I don't mind the crowd noise because I'm not really paying attention to it at all.
Yeah, I don't mind it either. I don't. I'm just paying attention
tune that out. Even during the regular games, I'm just like trying to watch. I'm trying to watch the game analytically. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not really paying attention to the fans when they bring the cameras and stuff like that. The cheerleaders, get the hell out of here. I just want to see the game,
No, right. Exactly.
I just think it's been a really good product, and the guys stepping up to surprising teams like the Phoenix Suns. Devin Booker, one of my favorite players, has been balling, doing his thing, and
sure has.
Just to hear like his sound bites about, hey, Kobe's with me at all times. He told me, it'd be legendary. So he's taking that mantra and he's stepping up. I know Draymond Green said that he should go on another team, but I kind of like when players turn their team fortunes around. Kind of like Giannis did with the Bucks. Kind of like Kevin Durant did for the Sonics and OKC and things like that. So I like when things like that turn around based on player performance. So those are definitely my takeaways from the game. And contrary to what the Trump supporters are telling you, that the ratings are down. Like, you must be out your fucking mind. Like,
right.
Everybody's
seriously.
Watching
right.
the NBA right now. And I feel
Facts.
like the NBA is definitely the best league right now. And we can't forget to mention everything they're doing around Black Lives Matter. They
have it painted right on the court. Yeah.
Every game, they got something, from the players, a video. Every game, you got a player, pushing the envelope, addressing the concerns out there, making themselves vulnerable just to make sure the conversation continues. Because, like, most of the country thinks, sports is just there for distraction, and we just forget everything that's actually happening out there. And the players are just like, nah, we're not gonna let that happen anymore. We're not gonna forget, With a lot of players playing well in the NBA, I did want to ask you guys, because I've definitely seen that question being asked around sports media a lot. In your opinion, personally, who has been the MVP of the bubble so far?
TJ Warren.
Yeah, I'd have to go either T.J. Warren or Devin Booker, but probably say T.J. Warren.
I'm gonna go with Luka Doncic.
Ooh, that's a good one. That another guy talked about, right?
No,
now.
you just talked about him.
And that's what I'm saying. Another guy that I just said about how well he's been playing. But I mean, I think those top two guys in T.J. Warren and Booker, they've had better team success. But I mean, and then I think that's why I'd put them above Luka. But I definitely. Luka's been right up there with those guys and playing good as anybody in the league right now, without question. Yeah, the guys.
How did the Mavs go from one Hall of Fame white dude, white European guy, to another look like he's gonna be a Hall of Fame white European?
Oh my God!
Guy?
I know that's crazy.
How did that happen?
Right. For real, I don't know how they're doing it, but I guess they're. I mean, they draft these guys when they do a lot of scouting internationally. I think that's probably why they are able to find players like Dirk Nowitzki and Luka Doncic.
And now they have Porzingis as well.
Yeah,
that too. Even though he hasn't been playing as well as I think, but I mean, he has the potential to be a star player in this league.
Yeah, I think for me, it's Luka's second year in the league, man. I think people forget that sometimes. It's like the guy just got here, and to see the command he has on the ball, on the team, his passing is next level, man. Like, his vision is next level.
Yeah. Yo,
okay.
Did y'all see that pass he had last night?
To Porzingis, like,
no.
Which one?
Oh, the one. So he came off the pick and roll. He passed it between his legs to the big man, and the big man got a wide open dunk and an N1. That was one of the most beautiful passes I've ever seen in a game. Like that to me, just my jaw just dropped, and I couldn't believe what I was seeing. That was a dime, to say the least.
He's a beast, man.
The only thing I don't like about Luka Doncic is he's a Real Madrid fan.
Oh.
I knew
the soccer guys. I was like, what? Luka hasn't done anything.
Right, that's what I'm saying. He hasn't done anything wrong.
If he sees this, he'll know.
Yeah, but just to finish my point, I think the thing with TJ Warren, I feel like that's an apparition. Like, it's just for right now. You know what I'm saying? I think he reminds me kind of like the whole Isaiah Thomas era with Boston, where he just like started cooking night in and night out, and then he just like got the nickname, what was it? What was that time?
Or IT time?
IT time. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely don't think this is how this guy is gonna perform, from now on and on to like next season and things like that. And I'm curious to see what happens when teams focus on him in the playoffs. So I think definitely part of it is other teams not respecting the fact that he's been that good lately, because he hasn't been that good. It's like you guys were saying in last week's show. Who is like the guy? It's not like he just started playing in the NBA. You know what I'm saying? Like,
he's been in the NBA for a while, right?
So I definitely think it's not. I think it's an apparition. I think it's just something that's happening. Kind of like to Vlad's point that he's comfortable playing with in the open gym style. It's like AAU days, the way it's working out for him. And maybe the scheme that he's playing in now helps him out even more.
That's what I think also could be a better fit, because remember, he played with the Suns before, and I mean, mostly anybody besides Devin Booker doesn't play well with the Suns. So then he got traded from the Suns to the Pacers, and all of a sudden now he just is starting to blow up and blossom and turn into a really good player. So I think it is probably a better fit, from him for him and on that team. And I think now he's able to get more shots. Not playing with the score like Devin Booker and even though they have Victor Oladipo, he still is working his way back into becoming the player he was before. So I think it's just a better fit, and I think the also got to give the guy credit. He's playing well. It's not like he's playing putting up these numbers against teams that aren't good. Like they're playing good teams, and he's still continuing to put up really good numbers and play at a high level. Like obviously, like you said, we're gonna have to see, can he continue this in the playoffs when the game slows down, and you're right, defense is key on on the top scorers and key players on the other team. That will be the next thing and the biggest question to see if this guy really legit. Is he is he actually a star and can actually play, or is this just, like you said, an aberration and like a one-time thing where he just has a few good games and then goes back to his the way he was playing before.
Nevertheless, if he continue playing like this in the bubble, he'll be the MVP of the bubble.
Do they actually have that award? Like,
no.
They're
gonna make that.
It's just an award
MVP.
that we are giving him.
Yeah.
Based on what's happening this year.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's definitely more games to be played. So we'll see. We'll see if he keeps the trajectory going, or if somebody like Luka Doncic doesn't further cement himself as the actual MVP. You know what I'm saying? But let's move on. There's some injuries that happened. One really unfortunate one is Ben Simmons. He had a partial dislocated kneecap, and now he's actually he had to leave the bubble to go undergo surgery. So the Philadelphia 76ers are missing a really big part of their team.
A huge loss.
And it's definitely a huge loss for them. I didn't think it was going to be that serious, but apparently it is if he's flying out to get surgery.
Right.
And so I'm assuming that means like that's it for him.
Yeah, I think pretty much he's gonna expected to miss most of the postseason. So I highly doubt that he comes back and plays in the bubble. So I think he's pretty much done.
That sucks, man.
It does. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, I mean, I know the Celtics are most likely gonna play them in the playoffs in the first round, and I don't like it when teams come out weaker than they're supposed to be, because then I feel like you don't get like that composition that you need if you're gonna move on to the next level. Yeah. Or you don't get like the push that you need to have that mindset. You know what I'm saying? So I always like our teams to face guys at full strength. If you're gonna win, you gotta earn that shit. So I'm definitely not happy about it. I mean, I'm happy, because now it's gonna be an easier series, without him. If we do play them in the first round, but at the same time, I'm not happy because you don't want to see anybody go down with injuries and getting surgeries and stuff like that. Right. And
sorry, go ahead.
No, you can make your comment.
Yeah, but a good question is what's gonna happen with Philadelphia now that Ben Simmons might be injured. That means they're most likely gonna be out the first round of the playoffs.
Yeah,
I feel as though they're gonna have to make some decisions about how their future with Ben Simmons or Embiid or both, or like, what do you guys think?
They need to find a way to get rid of Al Horford. For real, like it's like everything is too redundant. You basically have like three power forwards, man: Embiid, Simmons, and Horford, and it's crazy to me that they really can't make it work because that contract was bad. I'm really glad that they got it, because you know what? That means we got to keep Jaylen Brown, and I'd much rather
have JB than Al Horford. And thank God the Celtics didn't give him that kind of a contract to re-sign here.
Yeah, for sure, man.
As much as I like Al, though, he's definitely not worth that amount of money.
I love Al, man, and he did well for our team, and, he was a really good player. I think it's sad the way that he's basically disappeared since he went to Philly. It's like The guy was on ESPN like almost on a nightly basis when he was with the Celtics. Now
Right,
it's
and he was
like
an all-star.
exactly.
Right.
Now you're coming off the bench, but not anymore because Ben Simmons is hurt, and he's starting to play well again, which is funny.
What do you think? What do you think, Barry? What do you think is going to happen with the Sixers?
And I think that's they definitely have some tough decisions to make this offseason. Think that, certainly they have to figure out, as far as whether, Simmons and Embiid can both coexist and play together, or if they should just, choose one guy and build that team around. I also think...
You mean change the process? We've been waiting for the process this whole time.
We'll have to see if they really do trust the process.
I don't think so.
When the off season comes and it's time to make decisions on where they go from here. I think that they probably need another coach in there that's gonna motivate those guys and and get the best out of them, and particularly with Embiid and Simmons, because I think they do need like a coach that's gonna get on them and and criticize them and be and be a lot more vocal. So I think they may have to consider making a coaching change and bringing in a new head coach. And I've even been hearing that, if the Sixers don't go on a playoff run, which, most likely, after this injury, I think, they're not, there's pretty chances are high of that happening, that they're going to look into, replacing Brett Brown and bringing a new head coach in, which I think that's, what they're going to have to do to get the best out of the talent that they have on their roster if they decide to keep those guys.
Yeah, I think no matter what happens, unless they win the championship, Brett Brown is gone. I think he's just out of here.
Really? Wow.
Regardless
So
of what
think
they could make it to the Eastern Conference Finals this year. He's gone.
No, I think if they do make the East Finals, he keeps his job. They have to at least make the East Finals in order for him to keep his job and go on a playoff run. How do you fire a guy that makes an Eastern Conference playoff run and gets to the Eastern Conference Final without one of your best players?
Ask the Raptors.
Yeah,
they did that to Dwayne Casey, so I think they'll be fine.
But I was just gonna say that's a different situation.
I don't think so, man. It's not so different.
How is that a different
It's not so different.
Well, because the team they would consistently make the playoffs, but they could never get over the hump, and they could never, once they got into the playoffs and once they played, once they got to a certain point in the playoffs, they would just pretty much fade away
because they ran into LeBron.
Right, but still, I mean, they were even in the other series that they played. Yeah, they won, but there was still the way that they played was disappointing. Even though they got by those series, I felt like they. And wasn't he like the head coach of the year, something like that?
Yep.
Doing
like
Casey?
the year before, dude.
The year he got fired.
Yeah,
he got fired.
The coach of the year he got fired.
No, right, yeah, that's right.
So,
they won over 50 games, but they just didn't have any success in the playoffs. And I felt like, the GM needed to do something different in order to get the team over the hump, and it worked out with them bringing Nick Nurse, and then with trading DeRozan and getting Kawhi, and they ended up getting the chip after that.
We know the whole story, right? But so what's happening with how is that different from what's happening to the Sixers right now?
I think that with the Sixers,
they haven't been able to get over the hump. I think with the
Sixers, the issues is it's more dysfunction with that team, and I feel like
why is he not there?
Chemistry issues, and there wasn't dysfunction over there with the Raptors. They just couldn't get over the hump in the play. They just couldn't. You know what I'm saying? Be contenders. In the league, they didn't have any. They played well together as a team. I mean, as far as their chemistry and continuity, that wasn't an issue. And they just you know,
That plays
couldn't get to the finals.
That plays to my point even more.
Exactly.
If
You
you
just
have a
proving
if you have
his
a
point.
coach, if you have a coach that can't even get the players to play well, they don't have good chemistry, then I'm definitely firing you. And that's another reason why we're not gonna make it over the hump, because you can't even get the players to play together, to be on the team together. At least Dwayne Casey was able to get those guys to play well. They play a really good regular season, but we can even do that with you. So I'm definitely firing you. So
And-
that's even more reason to fire that guy.
And
But
you-
I don't want to get too deep into
Right. You know, last one, Brett Brown is nobody's coach of the year. So, like, you
But
know, at
right,
least
exactly.
Dwayne Casey
He's definitely
is
not
like,
coach of the year material.
you
right.
need to get, I think even if they make it to the Eastern Conference Finals, which actually maybe, you know,
Nah, I
with
think
Ben
that-
Simmons now
With him
out,
out.
if they make it now, I think they might think twice about it. But
He keeps his job, guys. You can't fire
if,
that
if
guy.
they make it now without Ben Simmons,
Right.
then we might think about it a
I
little
cannot
bit.
stand Brett Brown.
But
would
I
fire-
can't.
that-
I don't
that
like him
needs
either,
to-
man.
that
No,
needs to
me
be
too.
done.
I'm not a
That
Brett
needs to-
Brown fan. I think he needs to get out of there, and they need to get a new coach and then a new voice in that locker room that's gonna be in Embiid's ear and in Simmons' ear, and
Yeah.
get, and get those guys to to get the best out of them and to really play, bring the play up to their potential.
Yeah. I mean, we could talk about this, debate
This
this for
all
a
day,
while.
right.
But there's other injury news. A guy we talked about in the last show, a little bit about him, because he made some comments that, a lot of people might have had issues with, and we explained our standings on it. But Jonathan Isaac, he tore his ACL, so he will be out, obviously, for the rest of the season. And most likely into the next season as well.
Two, probably a good amount of next year, right?
And I feel like it was important for me to put this on the agenda because I saw a lot of memes, just attacking him for not kneeling, and then one of them was like, "Oh, this is common. This is what happens from you not kneeling." So God took your
God,
knees or something
really?
like that, and
Really,
I
people
just
went there.
exactly, and I'm just like, man. I don't care how much you disagree with somebody or, something they did you disagreed with. Like, you don't wish things like that on anybody. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is a human being. This is what he does for a living. And, I just wish him the best. And, I hope he didn't see all those memes, people talking, all that kind of stuff, because, that could get to somebody. But I definitely wanted to address it because I didn't think that was fair at all. And
No, it isn't
seemed
fair.
like
It's terrible.
a lot of the stuff that they were putting out there, obviously it's the internet, so they're not going to give you the full background story of what happened. So it was just like a little excerpt, or he didn't kneel, so his knee got taken. I just thought that was crazy. But good luck to him, man, and hopefully he heals pretty quickly.
And it's not right for people to do that.
Right.
No,
it's
facts.
wrong.
It really isn't.
He's the fact that he didn't kneel and the fact that he got injured have nothing to do with each other. It sucks. Hopefully he get I wish him speedy recovery.
Yeah.
It's just not okay.
Yeah.
No, it isn't at all. It's not acceptable, and there's no room in place for that at all in society and in sports, period. So, no,
Yeah,
I
man.
feel bad for the guy, and
Yeah, me
we
too.
wish him quick and speedy recovery, and hopefully, he comes back stronger than ever and a better player. So, I know it's really unfortunate, and really makes me sad to hear that people would treat him like that, even as much as they disagree. Like you said, John, even if you disagree with someone, there's no reason to talk to anybody like that, regardless of what you disagree with them about. That's, what I'm saying? That shouldn't happen at all, point blank, period.
No, facts, man. And that's gonna be it for the NBA for us. Actually,
One more. Oh yeah.
one more thing from me. I was thinking about Damian Lillard yesterday and everything that happened.
And Pat Beverly.
Pat Beverly, Paul George, and the whole back and forth they had.
Oh, yeah.
Dame missed 2 clutch free throws at the end of the game.
And then he missed
ended
the
up
3 as well.
losing.
That would have tied it. Yeah.
And Pat Bev and was definitely
It was one of the Morris brothers,
Yeah,
too, that were getting on him on the bench.
Yeah, just going crazy, laughing, he's like a freaking child, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah, right, facts.
And after that, they had a little spat over social media. I thought that was that's why I love the NBA, man, just to see everything that's going on, even though these guys are at, like, the same hotels, they're tweeting at each other and shit. I'm like,
oh, yeah.
All right, guys, just meet me in room 230, man. What's up? You know what I'm saying? Like, but we know they're never going to do that. But I really like Dame and how he handles certain things. He's like, yo, I've sent both these guys home before, so, like, they know what's up,
Like, exactly, who are they to talk to me like that? That's what he's probably saying to himself, right?
Yeah, man.
Vlad, you said you had something else NBA related you wanted to discuss?
Yes, so I forgot to put that on the agenda. We mentioned last night the MVP of the season between LeBron James and Giannis was gonna be the MVP, or what do you guys, or just not even those two guys, anybody? What do you guys think should be the MVP of the NBA season?
You know what, Barry? I'm gonna let you go first.
Okay, think it should be Giannis. Giannis should get the MVP and had done enough in the 5 games or 60 something games that they played before the season got suspended in March. So I think that he pretty much solidified the the MVP award, and it's going to be the back-to-back MVP in this year, and that they wouldn't be surprised if it ends up being a unanimous, decision to make him the MVP. But I, think that LeBron was on his way to possibly passing him, but just unfortunately that the season had to be suspended, and he didn't have enough time to make that up. But definitely Giannis to me is the MVP of the NBA this season.
I definitely think it's gonna be Giannis. Do I necessarily think that he is? I don't know. I'm thinking about it, and I think a lot about the fact that to go against LeBron, they talked about the fact that he was in the East a lot of the times. You know what I'm saying? And he did make that point himself. Like, when I was in the East, all they kept talking about was I wasn't in the East. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So now Giannis has been tearing it up in the East. His teams has been on the top just like LeBron James was.
Yeah.
And now he's basically like getting all the praise. And I'm like, I don't know, is that fair to LeBron? Because he is in the West, which is a tougher conference, number 1 seed. The guy was pretty much averaging a triple-double all season, until the last couple of games. I don't know. I like I said, I think it's going to be Giannis, but I definitely think it's something to be discussed as far as, like, the differences between him and LeBron James and what they've done towards LeBron James in the past.
No, for sure, John. I'm with you on that. I know it's an interesting
I just don't think it's fair.
Conversation.
I just don't think it's fair, like.
We don't think it's fair, the criticism that LeBron got?
Yeah, that LeBron got, and, Giannis is not getting those same criticisms when he's basically took over for LeBron in the East, except he hasn't gone to the finals, and even when LeBron was going in the finals, they still wasn't giving him the MVP. So it's like, what? I think maybe there's a double standard.
No, I hear what you're saying. I think maybe it's because people think that the East is better.
They hold him to a higher standard.
Right. They do, no, without question. But maybe it's because when LeBron was in the East wasn't competitive and was trash. But now that he's out of the East, the East is a lot better, and there's a lot more more competitiveness and better competition. So maybe,
but the West is even more competitive than the
absolutely
East, now. So
right.
I don't know.
What do I think?
Yeah, go ahead, Vlad. What's your take on it?
Well, I definitely think Giannis is gonna win.
Yeah.
But there's two guys that I'm gonna talk about that I think have done more with their team that anybody expected them to do this year.
CP3.
Yes,
I knew that was
Chris
gonna be one of
Paul
them.
and Jimmy Butler. Both of those guys.
Okay.
Both of those
Jimmy.
Both of those guys went to teams with not necessarily superstars,
Yeah.
and they both have their teams in the playoffs competing, and people just did not expect that to happen.
Yeah.
Especially CP3 going to OKC, people were like, okay, when are they gonna trade him to a contender? And he made them a contender.
Right. And
Right?
people thought OKC was going to be trash this year, even with
Exactly.
CP3.
Exactly.
That's right. Good point.
And people saw Jimmy Butler going to the Heat, and people were like, the Heat? Really? Like, why didn't he stay with Philly? He could have won the championship, blah, blah, blah. But now the Heat just beat the Celtics.
Yeah.
Right,
without it.
And he didn't even play that game,
So
right?
I just think those guys have been the MVP of their teams, and they've done more with less than LeBron James and Giannis have done with more.
That's a good point.
This year, not over the career,
Right.
just this year. But we know how the voting is gonna go. The voting is gonna go between Giannis and LeBron, and Giannis is gonna win it. And I think Giannis has mean more to his team than LeBron has mean to his team this year.
Wow.
So
I think that's another debate right there.
For another episode.
That's for another episode right there.
Yeah, because we could go on about that. So, yeah, we'll leave that for another episode.
Lastly, for the NBA, Draymond Green made an appearance on NBA Tonight. Was that what
Inside the NBA?
Inside the
on
NBA
TNT.
on TNT, and he was replacing Shaq, I believe.
Yep.
And he made some comments about Devin Booker needing to sign with a whole other team. Just announced that since then he's been fined, I think $50K.
Yep, that's
for his comments for tempering. So let that be a lesson to other players. Don't comment on players that are not on your team, and don't comment about free agency or anything like that. When it comes to the NBA, especially during the season, it's not even free agency period. So why are we talking about anybody? Right,
for real.
But let's move on. I thought that was a great conversation about the NBA. Let's move on to the NFL, though. There's a lot going on with the NFL, as always. I think one thing that we didn't discuss, Darius Geese, he actually got released by the Washington football team for some domestic violence stuff, some really disturbing stuff, and I think that was a really quick reaction for the team, and I appreciated that because in the past it's taken these teams so long to actually react and do something about what's happened with the players that it just makes things look bad in the league. But just an update on that. But I wanted to talk about the Patriots a little bit, as always, because we are in Boston. And, a lot had happened with the Patriots, especially on the last show. We talked about all the opt-outs. 8 players had opted out. And since then, last Thursday, the deadline has passed for the players to opt out. So now the rosters are set, right? And, I think the question is now, with all the Patriots opting out, all the players that opted out, who are the backups, and who is the most important backup to the Patriots?
Well, I don't really know the backup, so I just know that with all the players that opted out, especially on defense, that's gonna give space for some of the rookies that the Patriots drafted to make their names. Especially on the linebacker level, we lost Dante Hightower. We lost the guy that went to the Dolphins. What's his name?
Calvin Noy.
We lost Calvin Noy. So and we lost Patrick Chung, who he's a safety, but he plays as the nickel safety, and he plays to make stop with the linebackers. So I think this is gonna give space for the linebacker that we drafted. We drafted Josh Uche.
Josh Uche
And Kyle Duggar, and I think both of those guys all set to have really important roles on defense, especially replacing Chung and replacing both Calvin Noy and Dante Hightower. We have a hole on our defense right now, and I think Belichick is going to give those guys opportunities to step up and play. And if those guys play well and they respond, next man up, do your job, I think those guys will have an opportunity to make their names, especially this season.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. I had actually other two guys in mind that are going to be, I think, pretty notable backups for this team with, the opt-outs that we had. One of them is Juwan Bentley. I think he's going to be really big. I'm sure I probably stole yours.
I know. I'm like, yo, this dude is always taking my stuff. Man.
I think I'm like a mind reader or something like
real,
that.
Man.
I didn't know I had that ability. But anyways, I think he'll definitely now be huge for the linebacking core, for the defense, because now he's pretty much the only veteran linebacker we have, since the rest of them are really young, either first or second year players. So I think he'll definitely have to really step up and take his game to the next level. And I think that they'll expect a lot more out of him, this season, to be a leader on that defense. So he's certainly going to be the top guy that that needs to step up with all the opt-outs that we had. And then another guy was Adrian Phillips, who I know I talked a little bit about last episode when we were talking about all the guys opting out. But I think, he was a free agent acquisition that the Patriots made this offseason. They, got him from the Chargers, and he's actually a two-time Pro Bowler, and he was a really good special teamer, and we all know how Bill likes the special teamers. But I think we're gonna need more than special teams from him. We'll need him to play some safety and to play that Pat Chung kind of role on that defense. So I think he's gonna need to be another key contributor and a key player for the Patriots this season to replace Pat Chung on in the back end in the safety position.
Yeah, I think you guys have good guys. You did pick my top guy that needs to step up, which is Juwan Bentley. I thought when he first came out as a rookie, he had the green dot like right away. He's a smart guy, and he was in the middle there. And I think when Collins came in last year, it was kind of like, obviously he has more experience, and he's been in the system before. When Jamie Collins, that is what I'm talking about. So his minutes were diminished because of that. But I think he's a talented guy. Other than the fact that he got injured that year when he came on, he started to play really well. So he's definitely one of the top backups this year. I think somebody like John Simons is going to be huge for the team as well. My other guy would be Chase Winovich, coming off the edge. He's probably going to be a starter this year. One guy that people don't really think about, we did draft him last year in the second round, Jawan Williams. Big corner, and I think they're trying him out at safety. So I'm very curious to see what he can do. That is depending on his criminal court case with the whole drug bust and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I think the Patriots, they do a good job with when their guys get in trouble, for the trouble not to be so transparent in the media, kind of like Patrick Chung, the whole
cocaine thing last year,
right. Out of nowhere, it's just like disappeared because case dismissed and stuff like that.
Right. So
the
charges got dropped.
Got dropped. Probably because they didn't have a warrant to enter his space in the first place.
Right.
Hey, whatever you found there, that you can't do shit about it. I think they definitely do a good job.
Cocaine.
I think he's joking. He's kids. He is joking.
Right. He's just joking on that.
I don't know, man.
You know,
Oh boy.
no, these guys be doing different things out there, man. I'm like, what are these guys doing in the off season, yo?
For real,
Like,
seriously.
is it really that bad? You know,
I don't think it's that bad. I think he's just, I don't know, having some fun. Everybody
you know,
has
he
some
likes
fun.
to party. He likes to party.
Maybe he has a little bit too much
As
time
long as
on his
it's-
hands.
As
in
long
the
as it's not
offseason.
distributing.
Yeah, damn. I don't know, man. So are you for stuff like that? Recreational use of whatever you want to use?
Yeah.
Even the stuff that's like killing people?
As long as I feel as though there should be a limit to it, but the criminalization of drug use is not productive to society. It's counterproductive to society.
We need a drug test, Vlad. See what this see what Vlad's on right now. You know,
Right.
Nah, I mean, but I'd agree too. Like, listen, man, we're all human beings, and we should
I
be
think
told what we can and can't do. You know, as long as you're doing it in moderation and you're not killing people. Like, who are we to say
I think
anything?
there's a country that decriminalized all their drugs. Which,
Amsterdam.
Yeah.
And what used to happen was actually tourists would go over there just to do like drugs on the streets and stuff. Now you can't do that no more. They banned it. They're like, this is a rule for our citizens. You know what I'm saying? Like, you guys seem dumb and you're not gonna come over here and just be on drugs all over the place doing crazy stuff, and not, you know, have repercussions and stuff like that. But yeah, those were my picks for the backups that should be stepping up this year. You know, I don't know. If they do step up, I think there's, you know, a couple ramifications for that, you know, as far as like, you know, what's going to happen with the people that were the incumbents before they opted out for the season, like Patrick Chung. Imagine somebody goes in like Adrian Phillips and plays really well. Like, you could be, you know, expendable for next season. You know what I'm saying?
Right, absolutely.
Yeah, so they got to be careful about that. I think another thing that happened throughout the week, the quarterbacks got to do interviews for the first time with the media, right? So that's Brian Hoyer, Jarrett Stidham, and of course Cam Newton got to do interviews. Did you guys catch these interviews, and what did you think about the interviews?
I caught the Cam Newton interview.
Yes, I did too. I saw.
I don't know about
yeah.
these. I don't know about these other guys that are not gonna be the starter.
Oh, it's a hot take right there, huh, Vlad?
I mean,
Ooh.
I actually I don't know. I don't know what the situation is gonna be in camp, especially if Cam Newton 100% healthy. That's all questions. But if I was,
He did say, as of right now, I am full go.
Yeah, that's right.
If I'm picking the quarterback that I would like to start, it would be Cam Newton. So.
Oh man, these guys were telling me Jarrett Stidham. Remember a few shows ago when I was like, "Yo, why wouldn't they bring Cam Newton in?"
Yeah,
And then you guys were like, "No, I don't want to shot his confidence."
Yeah, but
You know?
he's here.
Right.
I'm just saying. I'm
Right.
just saying.
No,
That's
that's
he's
no.
a Patriot now.
Not that you're just saying. That's two different conversations.
Oh, okay.
That
It
is
is.
two different conversations.
All right.
He's
It
here
is.
now.
Right. That was before he was a
Like
Patriot.
if he's not,
now he's actually on the team and has been signed as a Patriot, so it's completely different.
No,
if
I
he's,
got you.
if
I'm
he's,
just teasing.
if
I'm
he's
just
not
teasing.
here and Belichick believes in Jarrett Stidham, let's not play around with it. Let's not bring other people if we believe in. But obviously Belichick doesn't. He brought in Cam Newton. If I'm picking between an unknown guy that I don't know much about really, that I've only seen played a couple of games, a couple of preseason games, I'm gonna pick Cam Newton, obviously.
I feel
But
that.
Right, facts.
but yeah, I saw Cam Newton in an interview. You know, I think he's quickly adapting to the Patriots way. He didn't say really too much in his interview. Besides that, he's excited to be on the team and that he's just excited to work with the guys. I mean, he used words like amazing and it's been a great experience. So there's not really much I took from that interview besides that, hey, he's here and he's ready to play.
Yeah, I saw both Cam Newton and Jared Stidham's interview. I didn't see Brian.
You didn't see Brian?
Hoyer. No,
I doing Hoyer like that.
I thought it was irrelevant to
Why?
have that, interviews because
He's
we know at the end of the day, like
you get Cam
gonna
Newton,
come
they
down
forget
to Cam
about
Newton
everybody.
and Jared Stidham as who's gonna be the quarterback. Like we said, Hoyer's just there to be a mentor and a glue guy in the locker room guy. So
Hoyer should just be holding the microphone.
You're the teacher,
holding
okay?
the clipboard, right? Exactly.
In this room, you break shit down and teach people. That's it. Like he should be an off the field coach. Like that's what you do here.
Whatever those guys.
Honestly, he should have made him like the quarterbacks coach
Seriously.
or something like that. That's a good point, John. I was just thinking that, like, why didn't they just give him that position instead of saying, "Oh, we're gonna bring him in to compete for the starting quarterback position," when we know damn well who it's gonna come down to for the top two candidates for this starting quarterback position for the Patriots.
I think one of the Super Bowls that we won, they said that it was due to Brian Hoyer on the scout team and the way that he was doing things. I think that was
Against
maybe
the Rams. The last
Yes,
Super Bowl
yes,
they won.
and,
Because he
you know,
actually used to play for the Rams.
exactly the things that he was seeing and stuff like that. So yeah, like be a coach or something. But not to cut you off. What did you think?
I thought the interviews were, I thought I liked Cam's interview. I thought it was pretty good interview, and he was pretty, personable and showed a little bit of his, personality. I like when he said in the interview that I wake up mad. I'm a self-motivator. I thought that was pretty, awesome and cool that he, said that, that he did, because they were, asking him, as far as, what he thinks about competing for the starting job. And he was saying that he, he competes every year for a job, and not only every year, but every day he's out there on the field. He's, always competing, and, that he's, he doesn't need any other factors and things to motivate him. That he has enough self-motivation, which is, something that obviously we want him to be, and we want to have a quarterback that, can motivate himself to be great and to bring the best out of him. So I thought, it was a pretty good interview. Like how he said, he was a full go, didn't have any concerns and any setbacks from the injuries, he had, particularly with the shoulder, since I know there were a few questions that the media had asked about, how he's feeling, how's the shoulder, is he going to be, ready, and he pretty much made that clear that, the shoulder feels good, and that he's ready to play, and he's a full go. So I was definitely, happy to hear, those things. And, for Jared Stidham, it was good to, hear from, Jared Stidham, because I think that's the first time I've actually heard him talk to the media and do an interview.
Really?
Yeah, I don't remember if I've heard him. I don't think he spoke this offseason to the media, as far as I can remember. So.
I thought you were saying, like, as never heard him in a...
Oh, no.
Okay.
Just this particular, off season,
right.
This training camp.
Right. I got
So,
you.
yeah, it was definitely good to hear from him. I thought he said all the right things in, in his interview. He said that, he's excited and looking forward to, competing for the quarterback job with, Cam Newton and Hoyer, who I don't think is much competition, but certainly Cam Newton is without question. So he's, kind of embracing that, and, thinks that's definitely going to bring, the best out of him, and help him get better. So, it's definitely good to hear him say that he wasn't when they had signed Cam Newton, I know they asked how he felt, what his initial reaction was, and he said that he was actually happy about the signing, and he was glad that they brought Cam Newton here to the Patriots. So definitely it was good to hear both of those guys speak. This past Friday, and I'm looking forward and excited to see those guys compete for the starting quarterback job in training camp.
Yeah, actually, I didn't listen to Brian Hoyer or Jared Stidham's interview.
Really?
Yeah.
Like Stidham's?
I did not.
Wow.
Because I knew they were going to be the same generic bullshit interviews that Patriots quarterback usually give you. Yeah, I feel good. Anything that's good for the team, just here, putting my head down, working. Just the usual things. When we get on the field, everybody's going to be competing. It's all fun. Everybody's helping each other out. That whole, that vanilla bullshit. So
bullshit, like the kind of the way that Patriots players typically answer questions.
And I'm like, there's nothing to see here, okay?
See,
like the questions they're gonna ask, they're gonna give generic answers. It's the Patriots way, okay? I've listened to the interviews enough times to know there wasn't gonna be anything notable, unless Jared Stidham was gonna be like, hey, I'm the starter this year. I didn't think there was anything like valid for me to have to listen to.
Right, no, I got you
for the interview. I listened to Cam's because obviously it's his first time with the New England media.
Mm-hmm.
And we know how the Patriots groom their players to answer the media and stuff like that. And I thought he did a great job for his first interview as a quarterback on this team.
Right.
Like Vlad was saying, it seems like he's settling in to the Patriot way as when it comes to answering the questions.
Yeah, but I thought he showed a little personality.
He did. And that was going to be my next thing. He also showed like his own personality. The way he answered the questions to the media, like, I can't tell you that now. He did still have his Cam thing.
Right.
I really love the fact that he kept reiterating that, he said that, people don't understand how excited I am to be here. You know what I'm saying? He's like, I don't think anybody actually understands how excited he is and how excited he is about the opportunity to play for the team. And when you hear him talk, he talks like the starter of the team. Like he talks like a starting quarterback. Like
absolutely.
I love the fact that one of the answers, I think, on his Instagram, he posted something with him and Julian Edelman, and he said, "Yo, this shit's calculus, right?"
Yeah.
And they asked him about that, and I love the way he answered it. He's like, "Yeah, I say certain things, but at the end of the day, football is football, and that's what he's been doing his whole life." And I thought that was really great, and that's gonna bring me to my next question, which actually is going to be about Josh McDaniels, because he did an interview for the Patriots as well as Bill Belichick, but we know what Bill Belichick is going to say. Right. He's not going to say anything. He's not going to give you anything.
Right.
Something that stood out in Josh McDaniels' interviews, a lot of people were talking about it, was a comment that he made about Cam Newton when he said, quarterbacks rarely have the type of success that Cam Newton has had in the league. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of media platforms ran with that, and they're like, yo, is he basically insinuating that Cam Newton's going to be the starter? And obviously Vlad already thinks he should be the starter. Did you guys see that interview, and was that what came into your mind when he said that, or like is the media was just tripping or just like fishing for something that's not there?
Well, he was basically saying that no quarterback has had this type of success in the league that Cam Newton has had in the past without being good, without being smart, without being a good player.
Yeah,
like you cannot be a bum and be an MVP. Like
you can't be dumb.
Exactly.
And be an MVP in this league.
Exactly.
Even though he hasn't had good seasons lately, but he's a great football player. He's a smart football player, and he used the adjective smart when describing Cam Newton when they asked him when they asked him what he thought about Cam Newton. No, I didn't run with it at all as far as him being a starter. Just because I guess in my mind I already put in my mind that Cam Newton is gonna be the starter, but I just thought that's the answer. What else is he gonna say? Like, you think he's gonna say, "Oh well, I mean, damn."
No, he's coming off the bench, you guys.
I don't know why we got this player. He doesn't even understand football. Like, he's not gonna say anything. So to me, interviews are interviews, talking is talking. There's some things you can take away from them, obviously, but I think what's gonna happen, because players haven't even gotten on the field yet.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
Right,
Players
right.
have stretched, they've thrown the ball, but like real getting to the plays, putting on your helmet, putting on shoulder pads, none of that has happened yet. To see how players respond to calling plays, changing plays, certain whatever positions or whatever. I just don't think any of that has happened. So there's not much that I'm gonna get to from these interviews so far. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the way I saw the interview, and I saw the comments that he made about Cam Newton, I wasn't really surprised. I mean, those are, comments and things that you would, expect any coach to say. Even Cam's new offensive coordinator. I mean, what else is he gonna say other than that? I mean, it's good that he said that and he praised and spoke that highly of Cam Newton in that interview. I'm glad that he did that, and they've gone off to a good start in their relationship, because that's definitely going to be an important relationship for this team between Josh McDaniels and Cam Newton. But it wasn't really anything that caught my eye or got my attention, really. I was just like, yeah, okay, whatever. He said that about Cam Newton, like, it didn't really impress me at all that he said that. I didn't think too much about those comments. So I mean, we obviously know how good Cam Newton is and how smart he is, and in what he brings to the table and what he brings to the team. So it's not really too much of a surprise saying that he's a smart football player and that he's a really good football player, because those are things that everyone and their mother knows. So I mean, that's pretty much what I thought about the interview. It wasn't really anything that we didn't know already.
Yeah, I think, there's one thing I really don't like about Boston media. Like, we take the smallest things and we amplify it so big sometimes. You know what I'm saying? It's like the biggest headline for no reason. It's like, you guys are just like, you're taking it overboard, Like, you guys,
facts.
The guy had a 23-minute interview, and, one question and something he answered simply is like the biggest part of the interview for you. They want to find out who's going to be the starter so bad, like, they're willing to make any little statement like the biggest thing ever. And I think, we're not going to know who the starter is until probably the first game. You know what I'm saying? Or because we're not going to have a preseason game. So you're not going to see anybody. So you're not going to know who the Patriots will not declare who a starter is until week 1,
like that week before,
probably
exactly.
Like that Wednesday, when scouting, when reports, injury reports have to go out and all that stuff.
Right.
When they have to tell them about the game day 45, who's gonna be out there. So
yeah, exactly.
I don't think we're gonna know until that happens. So it is what it is, man. We've talked about the Patriots opting out, the Patriots players that have opted out for the season, which is 8. Overall, around the NFL, a total of 69 players have opted out for the NFL season. And, these guys had choices, to opt out or stay in. And I think we respect all their decisions. Mm-hmm. Do what's right for your family and things like that. One player that decided to come back and also decided to make some crazy comments, was Odell Beckham Jr. And I think, he basically, his sentiment was that the NFL should not return, and that they don't care about them because they're black, basically. The gist of it is basically like they don't care about us as people. That's what he said. Did you catch those comments, and how did you feel about them?
Well, I agree with Odell Beckham Jr. I think the league dragged their feet in coming up with procedures for coming back. They don't their procedures for coming back really don't protect the players at all, because players are still traveling the same. There's no like conference changes that were made for as far as traveling, as far as protecting the players. And I don't know if you guys been noticing, but levels of coronavirus cases have been rising in almost every state. It has risen in Massachusetts. It has risen in Rhode Island. In states that were fine previously, coronavirus cases are still rising. So I understand OBJ's comment as far as canceling the season. I don't think the NFL is gonna do that yet. I think they eventually might do that, but I think the NFL cares about their money and they care about their product, and they're gonna put a product out there as long as they can before it gets shut down. And the only way it gets shut down if the government shuts everything down again, which possibly might happen, as we see that there's a lot of coronavirus cases rising in almost every state.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I saw the comments. And I'll, hear what he's saying, but I'm kind of surprised that he decided to. He's not one of the 69 guys that you just said that opted out. I thought he'd be included on that list, because based on the comments and what he's saying, since he's pretty much saying that there shouldn't be a season, you figured that he'd be one of the guys that would decide not to play and decide not to, be a part of this upcoming NFL season. But, I mean, he definitely has a point in the league not, making it as safe as they can for these players, and they haven't, really made too many or any adjustments at all as far as the scheduling and the traveling as well. Teams are still gonna have to do that, play their regular schedule and travel. So, from that standpoint, I can see what he's saying, and I mean the owners do seem like they're being pretty greedy and money hungry. To say the least, but it's like, if you're gonna say all these things, then why are you playing in the season? But why are you taking why don't you just opt out and decide not to, to play if that's how you really feel? And those are and those are the facts. But then it was an interesting thing. I found out that he said these things actually a couple weeks ago before training camp had started, and then when he actually arrived in the Browns facility and arrived at Browns training camp, and he saw how safe it, what I'm saying, it actually is, and what the NFL, the safety protocols and the precautions that the league has these teams taking during training camp. Then he kind of changed his mind a little bit, and that's pretty much why he decided to not opt out and to play for the season. So I mean, we know Beckham's a pretty outspoken and candidate person, and is gonna speak his mind. I mean, I respect his opinion and what he was saying, but I just think that he shouldn't have played this season if that's how he really sees what the league is trying to do to the players and how he, thinks that they're treating them.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with Vlad. I do agree that, hey, it's a pandemic out there, and you know what? If they're not gonna have like a bubble environment or the safest environment as possible, then they shouldn't have the league. And I think the big part of his comments that got the backlash was what he said was, quote, it's obviously, like on the league coming back, quote, it's obviously for their money. Beckham said, and that's what bothers me, because it's always been, and I hate saying it like that, but the owner's attitude is, oh, we own you guys, and just kind of that unfairness going on, that they don't see them as humans. And that was basically the quote that got backlash. And that I'm not gonna agree with all that stuff, because it's like this is your employer, you know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, like, the game you're playing is a job, and they've given you the option to not go in. So like, if that's the case, if they don't see you as humans, they could have mandated that you show up, or you have to show up and do this because we own you. That's how I think about it when he says that kind of stuff. So like you said, Barry, I agree with that. Hey, if you're that concerned, don't play. These players are gonna want to play, and if that's their choice, that's their choice. But if you're so concerned about yourself and them, don't play, because then we know what happens. You can transmit the virus to other people yourself. So if you're that concerned, then take yourself out of the equation and don't play at all. But like, if you're gonna turn around and say, hey, I'm not gonna opt out, like, you don't say stuff like that, But I definitely
just said it. I mean, he said that way before.
He said. I mean, even before then, like
right before he arrived at the Browns facility in that Browns camp.
I mean, the pandemic didn't stop. They still have to travel. It's not like they're not gonna worry about the pandemic anymore, since the Browns facility, you feel safe there. You got to leave that facility. So like, are these feelings gonna come back when you leave the Browns facility? Like, when you have to get on the plane, like, if it's that troubling to you,
games, right.
And your Odell Beckham, whatever you say is gonna get amplified. It's gonna be in everywhere. So like, you gotta understand what you're saying, because the things that you say are gonna obviously have a big reaction from everywhere. But with that said, hey man, I love watching Odell Beckham Jr. I don't want to see a football season without him. So I'm looking forward to seeing him.
He is a great player, and hopefully he has a bounce back year. I know he had a
hopefully,
tough year last year, but hopefully he plays better, and like the OBJ he did a couple years ago before he became a Brown, and when he was with the Giants.
Yeah, man, for sure. Another NFL news, some signings that happened this week, and most notably Jordan Reed got signed by the 49ers.
Yep.
Jordan Reed has been plagued by injury for the last 20 years, it seems like. For the last maybe four years, man. Like,
he's been at least 4 years. Yeah.
He's been injured,
injury prone, the most injury prone player, hands down, in the NFL.
For sure, man. And you can tell that because his deal is all incentives. So if he don't reach any incentives, he's basically getting paid nothing.
Right. He has a similar deal to Cam Newton.
That's right.
Because Cam Newton's deal is incentive based as well.
Yep, that's right. And in another news, we reported that Matt Stafford was on the COVID-19 PUP list, physically unable to perform list. And since then, he has come off that list. So,
that's good. That's
Lions
great.
fans, don't worry. Matthew Stafford is gonna show up, and play for the season. I actually like Matthew Stafford a lot.
I think he had a false positive. He took multiple COVID tests, and one of them was a false positive, and then he took 2 more, and they were both negative, and so he was cleared to come back.
That's pretty scary that there can be false positives out there, because like, I wonder how many people that would happen to.
Well, that's why for the NBA, for the NFL players have to take multiple tests, because you can have a false positive.
Oh, that's why they got to take like 3 tests?
Yeah.
That's negative? Okay, that makes sense. I'm just like, so they just got 3 tests they can just give people? So no, I agree with that for sure.
Yeah.
No,
So-
that makes sense. No, I'm with that.
If you take a COVID-19 test and you're negative, or positive, it behooves you to take maybe another one just to make sure that it's actually you get the same results on both tests.
Yeah, man. No, that's
No,
good.
For sure. That's
Good.
great. I'm
Hey.
glad that they're doing that.
Hopefully, like all the players feel safe, like Odell Beckham has felt lately, and hopefully we can have a season without coronavirus, rearing its ugly head out there, man, and it is out there. So y'all
for
still
real.
be safe out there, man. That's gonna be it for the NFL for us. So we're gonna move on to the MLB. And number one, we're gonna be talking about the Red Sox, of course. So the Red Sox, they haven't been doing well.
No.
Right. It's a short season, 60 games. They went on like a 4-game losing streak. Since then they've won some games.
They won a couple games
Yeah,
this week.
they've won a couple games. And one thing that was interesting that I saw was the manager made a comment about JD Martinez. When it comes to him, he's the designated hitter. He's the DH on the team.
Yeah.
So basically, all his job is to go out there and hit. That's it. You don't have much else to do out there. You don't have responsibilities of being in the outfield, being on a base or anything like that, unless you're in the other conference. But during one of the games that we lost, it was said that JD Martinez wasn't ready because he didn't do one of his routines, and it was a game that we could have won and we could have used him. And I think the question is, do you guys think JD Martinez is quitting on the Red Sox?
I honestly don't know. I haven't really followed baseball that much. I don't know. What do you guys
I
think?
think that's not just you, man. I think that's a lot of people that haven't been following baseball. But Barry, did you check up on that or?
Yeah, I briefly saw it. I think he is quitting on this team, and I don't really blame him because, like we've said, multiple times on this show, that the Red Sox just flat out suck and are trash and not a very good baseball team. So and they're not really going to do too well and go anywhere this year with the way the current team is constructed. So, I hope he's not, quitting. But if you had to, ask me that, I would say yes. I think that he is quitting on the team and has, mentally checked out and isn't. It isn't there as he should be from that standpoint. So, sure he knows and has realized that it's pretty much a lost season for the Red Sox. It's early in their shortened season, but we can obviously see clearly, clear as day, that the team's not really going to be too successful. So, he's just probably really frustrated, about how the team's performance has been to this point, which is definitely understandable for him to feel that way.
I don't think he needs to feel that way. I definitely. I think he can feel that way. Like, hey, we're not having a good season. We're definitely lost a lot of key players, and including our manager and things like that. Including the pandemic that's happening now. We have a 60-game season. I can definitely see, where he's discouraged and stuff like that. What I don't agree with is quitting on the team. Like, your one job is you literally all you have to do is hit. You know what I'm saying? Don't tell me about you didn't go through your routines and stuff. Like, you literally have one job.
Right. Just go up to the plate. And it's for your 3-4 at bats per game,
And fucking swing.
and swing and try to hit the ball as hard and as far as you can. Exactly. No, I hear you, John.
Yeah.
That it doesn't look good that he said that, and if he, that he said, and if he does really feel that way, or if that did happen, he should keep him to himself and not go and tell the media that happened, because we don't need to know that.
This was actually the manager that actually said that. JD has like a particular way he likes to do his routines, his workouts and stuff like that, and it's like, you have a game. Right?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
There's a game on. It's on the schedule. There's no surprises. Get your fucking routine and get your ass out there. Not for nothing. You're getting paid. You're a highly paid baseball player. I don't care what's going on. I don't care if your back is breaking right now. You know what I'm saying? You go out there and give us something, especially since you're one of the top players on the team. Right. And I think, you got to think about leadership also. Somebody like Dustin Pedroia, he would never... you wouldn't have no excuses. Even like this guy will go out there on a freaking broken leg. You know what I'm saying?
Right, and still be
he has the broken leg and still wants to be out there. It's like,
right.
You're done, bro.
Exactly.
And, but they're not all built like that. We're not all built the same. But it is what it is. I think if that's the case, shame on him, man. Seriously.
I hear you. Definitely he has the wrong mentality and is showing that he's pretty much not a leader for that team, but the leader that they need him to be. So, no, I completely agree with that.
Yeah, for sure, man. Baseball actually changed their protocols. So now masks are mandatory on the sideline, which I would agree with. Like, This is... I know some of them, they've changed their dugouts and stuff like that to be longer so to promote social distancing. I'd say you guys need to follow more of what the NBA is doing. You know what I'm saying? Like, even though these guys are playing with each other, they're still making efforts to have them social distance at all times. So,
I have some more of the protocols here as well, John. So, as you were saying, the players and staff must wear face coverings over their nose and mouth at all times anywhere inside a ballpark, including the dugout and bullpen, except for players who are on the field. Home teams are required to provide outdoor covered spaces for visiting teams. Players and staff must wear masks at all times inside hotels, except when alone in their rooms, and traveling parties must be limited to essential personnel. Players and staff must notify their club compliance officer anytime they leave the hotel while on the road, and players and staff are prohibited from visiting bars, lounges, restaurants, and malls.
Thank you, Barry. Damn. That's crazy.
Yeah. And that last one's the biggest one and the most important one, because as we've previously have seen, there's been quite a few teams that have not been, obeying and going, following that rule. So the, MLB had to obviously make that, pretty clear that these players and the staff on the team can't be going to any of these places. You can't go to the bar. You can't go to the club. You can't go to the casino. You can't go to a restaurant or a mall. So they, you would think it would be obvious and self-explanatory, but
they didn't say strip club, so.
Right, so they might be able to go to strip club like strip
club. But they said lounges though, so that could be considered.
Nah, if you don't specify, we don't care. You know what I'm saying? No, that's crazy.
No, it is crazy. It's funny though.
Thanks for getting us those protocols.
Yeah, absolutely.
And just to give them the audience the standings for the Red Sox, if you're not really following, the Red Sox are currently sitting last in the AL East right now. And their record is 5-9, and the number one record in the AL East right now is the Yankees with 10-5.
Yeah.
The Red Sox are doing worse than the Baltimore freaking
Orioles.
Okay,
right.
So that's how bad the season has started off. Okay, and reminder, there's only 60 games. Okay.
Yep.
Exactly. That's gonna be it for baseball. Let's move on to the NHL.
Yeah.
Obviously games are coming back on. Some teams are doing well, like the Phillies.
The Flyers.
Flyers, yes, they're doing Philly Flyers. They're doing well.
Yeah, even the Carolina Hurricanes are doing well too.
They're doing well,
Right.
and our hometown, the Bruins, they're not doing so well
Yeah,
in their
not at
comeback.
all.
They've started off 0-2 in their.
I have an
0-3.
update. They lost 0-3 now. They
0-3
lost
now.
today 2-1 against the Washington Capitals.
Yes, they're having issues. They're having issues, especially at goalie. With Tuukka Rask and Halak. They're not doing much out there.
No, well, I'll give this. To feel like Tuukka has played well. He played well today, and he didn't play too well. He played well against Tampa Bay earlier this week. Think it's the offense that has been lacking, and they haven't been scoring, any goals and helping him out to, take the pressure off of him.
Right. Just to clarify, it doesn't mean they're not going to make the playoffs because they're doing a little bracket system thing right now.
Yeah, those were just the round robin games.
Yeah, it's a round robin.
They're in the playoffs.
They're in the playoffs, so
They're
that
gonna
doesn't mean we're not going to go anywhere. It just means right now with the with the league coming back, they haven't been playing so well. They did win the President's Cup, which means they got the most wins over the season.
And the most points, right.
The most points to see them come back and not do so well. It has concerned a lot of people. Just so you guys know, they will be in the playoffs. So that's not what we're discussing.
They don't have the first seed because of the fact that they lost all 3 games of the round robin, and now they're gonna be playing the Carolina Hurricanes in the playoffs.
Right, in the first round this week.
Because they lost.
We know how that goes.
Right, and that's interesting because we actually swept the Carolina Hurricanes last year in the playoffs in the Eastern Conference Finals to get to the Stanley Cup. So that's an interesting first round matchup that we're going to be playing them again in the playoffs for the second year in a row. And the Carolina Hurricanes are, be playing pretty well, and they're one of the hottest teams in the league. And they were last year because I know they had beaten the Capitals before they played us last year, and then we swept them. So it's going to be a pretty interesting series to see, if the Bruins can get it together in time and start playing better hockey and playing better as a team and scoring, more goals, or if they're going to continue to keep playing the way they're playing. It'll be a very short playoff stint for them.
Yeah,
in the
sure,
bubble
man.
in Toronto.
For sure. Yeah, we're gonna keep you guys updated on the hockey front as the season comes back and things get hotter and games become bigger and more gets at stake. But that's gonna be it for the NHL, man. I'm glad to see it back. I'm not like the hugest hockey fan. I definitely would love to see somebody come in here and give us some extensive stuff on hockey and things like that. So if that's you, hopefully we can link up with you somehow and get you on the show. But we're gonna move into soccer, which our boy Vlad handles. So Vlad, let us know what's up.
Yes, sir. So last week, as I updated you guys, it was the semifinals of the MLS tournament, and that happened over this week on Wednesday and Thursday. And Portland beat Philadelphia 2-1, and Orlando beat Minnesota 3-1. So Orlando and Portland are gonna be in the finals, which is happening this Tuesday at 8:30 p.m. I'm picking Orlando. Orlando is looking really good. Manny, the Portugal international player, he's been playing unbelievable. I believe he scored 2 goals in that last game. So I definitely think Orlando might definitely hoist that trophy. As far as international soccer, the Champions League came back this week. The games were played on Friday and Saturday of this week. Juventus lost to Lyon in aggregate with an away goal. Man City lost to Real Madrid 4-2 on aggregate. Bayern Munich beat Chelsea 7-1 on aggregate, and Barcelona beat Napoli 4-2 on aggregate. So we are now moving to the quarterfinals. The quarterfinals are Atlanta versus Paris Saint-Germain this Wednesday coming up. RB Leipzig versus Atletico Madrid on Thursday. Man City versus Lyon on Friday, and Barcelona versus Bayern on Saturday. Those are some big games, but there's also some really big names that fell off, such as Juventus and Real Madrid. So those are teams with huge fan base, and I'm sure people are really heartbroken now. But teams like Barcelona, Man City, and Bayern Munich are still in the league. So there's definitely some big teams left. Bayern Munich is definitely one of the favorite teams to win the Champions League. Them and Man City. So we'll see what happens.
Nice, man. Thank you for letting us know what's happening on the soccer front. And last but not least, we always have it every single show, man. And the guy's gonna take the spotlight. We got the B Money Lifestyle Person of the Week, brought to you by B Money himself.
So, yeah, before I get to that, I actually have a couple of updates. As a matter of fact, the Red Sox actually won a game today, guys.
Wow.
Congrats.
Yeah, I know, finally, about
Now
time.
they're 6-9, still in last place.
Still behind those trash and garbage ass Baltimore Orioles, right?
Oh,
So
they're not only behind them, they're behind even more trash teams. Blue
Right,
Jays,
facts.
all that.
Facts. So they ended up winning 5-3. In the ninth inning, Mitch Moreland hit a 2-run home run to win the game for a walk-off 2-run home run to win the game for the Red Sox. So I just wanted to update you on that. And then there was also another bit of news that happened, is that the Patriots made a trade today. They, got a cornerback called Michael Jackson. Yeah, that's
Who?
Not that Michael Jackson. Everyone. Apparently, they had gotten him from the Detroit Lions. And they ended up giving up a undisclosed 2022 draft pick. So that was a trade that was just made just now, and so they wanted to get some more depth at the corner position. So we'll see how Michael Jackson plays for us and how he looks in training camp. So those were the updates I wanted to do before the B Money Lifestyle Person of the Week. So now getting to the B Money Lifestyle Person of the Week, we have a very special person for this week, nominee, and that is Dwayne Johnson, aka The Rock, former WWE wrestler and now famous actor. He decided that he is going to buy the XFL with him and two business partners that are part of the Red Bird Capital Partners. They have bought out the XFL for $15 million. So, and the XFL had actually, before this transaction was made, they had filed for bankruptcy. So, definitely big shout out to The Rock for saving the XFL and, buying it out and becoming the new owner for that league. So hopefully that league does, really well, and, hope he can get that league to, to be more, successful and to actually turn into something. And when they do come back, next year in 2021, since they already canceled their season that they were supposed to have in 2020 due to the pandemic. So we'll see what happens and how it goes. And now in the honorable mention for this week's B Money Lifestyle Person of the Week is the Seattle Kraken team broadcaster, who's named Everett Fitzhugh.
Everett Fitzhugh.
Fitzhugh. Thank you, John. So the reason why I had him as the B Money Lifestyle Person of the Week is because he is actually the NHL's first black team broadcaster that the league has had full time. So definitely big shout outs to him. It's great to see that the Kraken have the new expansion team has added a black person to their broadcast team to call their games for them. So he actually has had experience in broadcasting in the hockey, with the hockey teams previously. So he has spent the past 5 seasons as the director of media relations and broadcasting for the Cincinnati Cyclones of the ECHL. So that's like the minor league, NHL, the minor leagues for them. So he also served as the play-by-play broadcaster for the club, and that's the same position that he's going to be doing, with the Seattle Kraken. So hopefully this is a new trend, and hopefully we see more black people and more minorities get these kinds of opportunities in the NHL, which is a predominantly, white league. So it's great to see that the Seattle Kraken already have made history with this hiring. So definitely big shout out to the Rock, Dwayne Johnson, and big shout out to Everett Fitzhugh for in his new position, and wish him nothing but the best with the team for the next upcoming season.
Nice, man. Congrats to the Rock. Dwayne Johnson. I thought he definitely got that league for the low, $15 million.
Yeah, I know.
That's
only
pretty. That's pretty cheap for a whole league, man.
The league. Right.
That's pretty cheap for a whole league.
It is, fact.
And I'm definitely I'm impressed, but I think I'm more impressed with Everett Fitzhugh. This is the first time I'm hearing about it.
Yeah.
I've never heard that name before.
Yeah, me either. Until I saw the update yesterday.
Yeah, no, I'm really happy that hockey is opening itself to things like that, to these changes. And people haven't been watching or paying attention too much to hockey, but they've entered the Black Lives Matter support as well. And we see a lot of things going on the ice on a daily basis. So Everett Fitzhugh, man, congratulations and good luck with your new position with the Kraken. And congratulations on being a trailblazer. And actually that's gonna be it for our episode 21, man. If you're still watching, if you're still listening, we really appreciate you. We appreciate the support. If you're watching, again, please subscribe. Please share this video. Please like. Hit the notification icon, so you can get us every Wednesday morning on YouTube. Just be on the lookout for the episodes every Tuesday, like we said, man. And, as always, we'll catch you on the next episode. It's been Pro Fan Sports Podcast, where the fans of the pros go, So thanks for being a pro fan, man. We'll see y'all next week. All right.
Peace out.
Peace out.